I was awoken by some heavy banging on my door.
Walked up to the door and there was 2 officers there.
They took me into the house.
And before I had a chance to think, handcuffs were placed on me.
They start interviewing me about something I know absolutely nothing about.
And he says, well, we are here, okay, because an allegation has been made of sexual assault.
I mean, my mouth just dropped. I just didn't understand what was going on. And they said, a woman's claimed that you sexually assaulted her.
I thought, what? Me?
I mean, anyone can make a mistake, I suppose, but when that mistake leads to such a tragic impact on someone's life, you'd think that there'd be fail-safe procedures in place.
But no, you've got to go into this cell because you're under investigation for something that they can't actually say that you've done yet.
If someone accuses you of a sexual crime, you are the perpetrator. That's what the legal documentation calls you.
I trusted, I think, the system, the British justice system, that it would be honest, and it couldn't possibly have done this because I hadn't done it. I was innocent.
You're guilty until you can prove you're innocent. You know, which obviously is the reverse of what I always believed the British justice system was all about.
I think the police were not interested one bit in the truth of the matter at all. What they wanted was a conviction. This whole thing is driven by performance, by statistics, it's driven by political dogma.
Your whole attitude to the judiciary, the police, society in general, it's altered for good.
The police and the establishment want people to believe that false allegations are rare. That is not true at all.
I can honestly say that the effects of the ineptitude of the police to investigate their case thoroughly at the start has actually ruined my life, and I'm in a real mess.
I sat on the bed staring at nothing. I laid on that bed crying. I was smoking 60 a day, you know, and I wouldn't buy the cigarettes. I'd get my mum to get them because I couldn't see anyone, because I was scared.
Okay, so as you will have seen from that trailer that were made by Matt and Pat at the Pig and Crown, false allegations affect people from all across society, and I'm going to share with you some of my own experiences and thoughts. So false allegations, first you've got the process. When you find out, now my own situation is that an ex of mine, somebody I'd split up with, some time later, some months later, so we split up months later, and this is the thing, is that once it's all past and you look back on it, and hindsight, as you know, many people will tell you, is a great thing, right? You can see how it's been constructed. But I'll tell you something now, that when somebody knocks on your door, the police officers knock on your door, and the timing couldn't have been more horrible. Because I just moved into a new house. It was the first night I spent in a new house, right? So the next morning, a knock at the door. So the neighbours were probably already thinking, oh, who's moved in there? And then the first full day, got the police knocking at my door. Come in, sit down. Do you know why we're here? Not really, know what's happening. And then they tell you that somebody's made allegations of an extremely serious nature, right? Well, I didn't know what to say. But part of me felt it was such a ridiculous thing to hear that when it went in and my brain started computing, I'm thinking, is this some sort of joke? Is this some sort of really weird, twisted joke? And it really wasn't. So then all of a sudden you realise that you're in a really serious situation here. Part of you wants to just go, what? Are you know? Thankfully, I had enough experience in some intense situations, and from my own work experience and childhood, you know, your own life experience, that I didn't lose it. Because I tell you now, something that I'm sure happens to some people is that they react, and then what happens is they go, bit aggressive, bit of an emotional response. Yeah, you're not kidding, because I tell you what, some of these false allegations and the seriousness of them hurt, and that's one of the motivations, I think, from some of the people who use the system and abuse the system as it's currently set up to attack people, to attack men, right? And let's not sort of beat around the bush here. It's men who are suffering from this. Now, I haven't seen many or any cases, to be honest, where it's been the other way around, it's the woman. And if that's the case, then fair enough. But again, I don't want to make this a man-woman thing. This is a shockingly poor structure of systems that's got imbalanced laws and process. When people, women, some women, right, there's loads of awesome women, and I'm not going to go through the video, just keep apologising for saying women. The women who know that they're awesome and know exactly that it's wrong, know that it's wrong. What you get some women who will use any tool at their disposal to attack. And you'll get some men, but in this false allegation system, right, and the law that it's set up, it's women, some women. And what happened is, then they said, well, you're going to have to come in down to the station for questioning. Now, I've never been arrested for anything before. And the thing is, I've worked in school. I've spent 10 years working, from volunteer to LSA to senior LSA to counsellor to director of part of the school. I've worked my way up through that. Now what happens is, when somebody does something like that, and looking back, it was just a strategic attack on my personal life, my professional life, and as a father. So then you've got a precautionary suspension, because systems absolutely just are then terrified, just in case something is accurate or somebody's done something down the line, and then, you know, they get blamed because they never did it. Everybody's reacting by fear on hypothetical what ifs. So you go through and you get fingerprints. You have to sit in a cell while you're waiting to get questioned. And like I've already said, I moved into this property the first day. So you've got the social questions. You've got also, why is Mr. Ferguson not at school? So then you've got the community then, why? Saw him getting picked up by police, questioned. And then the gossip mills start. And this is why I've had times when I just don't want to go out of the house. Not because I've done anything wrong, but because, having been a person who's not really too fussed about what other people say, all of a sudden I really was. And about people questioning my reputation. Because in 10 years of working in schools, the families that I've helped, and the children that I've supported, and the young people who've struggled, Never had one question over my integrity, my reputation and my intentions. So then to have all of this landed on me, just like a bomb going off, in my head, in my heart, all around me. You got friends, you got family, and you'd hope that they'll know you well enough to brush it off. But this is where fear and doubt and people and all the social sort of perceptions come in of, well, what if? There's no smoke without fire. Now, how many times have we heard that people about equal opportunities and things being fair and balanced? Yeah, brilliant. I'm all up for that. So the law's not balanced. It's just not. The evidence speaks for itself. Right? If you want to go stats and you want to go stats, let's have, so that I've got a couple of reported in England and Wales. Reported stats. We got 2012 to 2013, 16,000, just over 16,000 reported sexual assaults. Right. Now that's gone up 7,000 a year. Just under 7,000. It's escalated, right? So we get to 2017, 2018, 54,000 reported cases. Convictions stay the same. So what you're seeing is the reports going up of allegations, but actually the ones that are proven. And I'm not saying that these bad things that happen, and it's one of the things that really worries me as well, is that the women who are suffering attacks, that you don't want this to overshadow the support that's there for them, because bad things happen and people need support in when them bad things happen. And these people who lie and manipulate the system in the short term can cause a lot of mess, right? Can cause a lot of heartache, right? In the mid to the long term, people start to see the lies and things start to unravel. But in that short term, these genuine victims, the genuine people who've suffered really bad experiences need that support. And they're potentially spoiling and ruining that for them, women, as well as ruining a lot of men's lives. Now my own, I can only speak for myself, but I've spoke to a lot of people online and seen a lot of people's stories and what they've shared, and it's devastating. Now I've been a single father for 8 years. 2019. Been 9 years this year, and I think I'm a pretty good dad. You have to ask my kids, but I trust them to speak the truth. And I'll tell you something now, when all of these panicky systems react and go into play, got the precautionary suspension from work, which while I were off, because I got rebailed like 3 times to go back and questions, and even after a couple of months, the officers who were saying to me, sort of see what you're dealing with here, right? They still had to go through this process. They still had to go through all these investigations. But what they did, and this is how imbalanced it is, they took my phone, took for evidence and investigating, and they went through my house. They didn't take anything off the person who'd accused them. Now I think if you're going to do one-to-one, do it to the other. Take the thing, collaborate the evidence. You get to the answer a lot quicker. Make it fair on both sides. It's got to be. Right? But they didn't. But then what you have is all of these systems that react. So then I got child services, social services, whichever they call, who come knocking on your door, who question the safety of your children, question your parenting. That stings. It really does. Though it passes, when you start to realise that these are just shockingly poor systems derived from hypothetical what-ifs and fueled by fear to get a reaction. The motivation from all of this is to hurt you. Right from the inception, right from walking into the police station, knowing that they're going to tell some lies and they're going to get you. This is it, it's payback. Woman scorn and all of that. And once you know that, once you realise that, but I tell you something, you've got to look through the fog, you've got to look through the darkness to find that little bit of light. And I tell you what, sometimes it's hard to see. There's some days I've not even wanted to come out of the bedroom, but I have. I've got kids, had something to do. Right? It needed doing. Somebody else needed me to be me more than I needed to be me, because I just didn't even want to face it. And I just thought, do you know what? I don't even want to exist in a place that treats people like this, that allows people to be treated like this. Thankfully I had my kids, and I put them before myself in that time, until I got to a time where I could start climbing back up for myself and reclaiming me, because I didn't deserve to be knocked down like that. Somebody didn't like me, fair enough, but to have a system that runs through our society that just aids that sort of behaviour, and not only aids it, but actually says, you don't like it, I tell you what, I'll give you an even bigger stick to hit him with. And it really did. It hit me hard. But something else that I found in this place, and this is why we have these sayings, what don't kill you makes you stronger. And like a ball on a string, you can whack it really hard. I'll tell you what, it's going to come back. And I have. And I've learned a lot. And I want to share, and this is one of the reasons why I'm doing this video. Because for all of them people who've had these false allegations, see, the thing is, you know if you've done something or not. And for the people who maybe have, who jump on the bandwagon and say, oh, I didn't do anything, well, you're lying to yourself. But if you know that you've not done anything wrong, don't let your head fall. You keep your chin up and you don't give an inch. Because you don't deserve to be battered like that. Tries to beat you down. Don't let it, because you're not on your own. You're really not. And it feels like that sometimes. But you're really not on your own. The tide's turning. I don't know if you can hear the wind. The winds of change are blowing, because people are waking up and people are being aware. And they're actually stopping and listening, and they're thinking, and they're saying, yeah, do you know what, that's not right. But what's more important is they're going, if this continues, it's going to get even worse, and it's going to be really not a great place to live. So the pennies, the proverbial pennies dropping. Right? I feel like a different person now. I am a different person now. The person that I was before, I still got all of that knowledge. Still the nice person that I hope I am, who wants to help. I think this whole process and seeing the depths that I can sink to, or be pushed to, whichever way you want to do it, I fell deep. I still got through it. That to me is resilience training for your soul, for your spirit, for your mind, for your heart. It's a bit like a bit of a cleansing. You see who falls away really easy, and you see who are the ones who are there for you. Friends, family, comes and goes. But through it all you'll find yourself a bit more, and you will get a bit clearer picture of this place and what you're actually dealing with. Maybe I were really naive before. Always tried to look for the best in people. I got a bit of a wake up call. Still trying to look for the best in people. Not so much of a mob, a bit of a pushover anymore. But I'm also very aware that the systems that are in place are not supportive, right, to a fair process in the vast majority of cases, right. Once you actually, if your case gets to court, you hope that it is. Now mine, because there were for about 8-9 months of investigation, it was clear that there were nothing to answer for. So I just got no further action and just got, no, it's alright, we're done with you now. And I was like, right, alright, so, you know, I'm floating along on life and you've just popped all my bubbles here, right, that were sort of keeping me afloat. I'm falling, I'm thinking you're just going to go, no, off you go, nothing to answer for now. And I was like, right, the lack of support from the systems that have allowed you to be pushed down is just not there. And there's still part of you that wants to go, how can you let this happen? Whoever the people are who are pulling the strings and making laws, how can you make it happen? Do you realise how unfair this is? But also at the same time as that, it's that calmness and peace afterwards. But you think, yeah, I see how shocking it is. And now, I have my super shield, and my super barrier around me that it just can't touch me. That's the resilience training. So actually, if you've been somebody who's had these false allegations, I don't want to use the word victim, right? I don't feel like a victim. I feel like somebody who's been extremely unfairly treated, right, by one, the person who's lied about me, right, but also by the systems that have just allowed this to happen. Right? But I don't feel like a victim. I feel like a learner. I feel like somebody who's been in training. And now I'm ready to come back and support other people. And I'm even better. Right? I thought I was good before at assessing behaviours and problem solving and seeing the process. Right? I'm even more aware now. So actually when it's trying to attack you it's trying to destroy you, all it's done is make you stronger. And I'm not going to thank it for that, because I'm helping a lot of people before now in a job that I really loved. And I felt like I was making a difference. And it allowed somebody to just come in and just ruin that. And I've had to redesign, reinvent, retrain myself to be stronger. And hopefully, I'm hoping by sharing this, that the other men and the families and the children who've had, well, children, but you know, but the effects to children who the fathers and have had questions, right? And some have been, you know, have had assessments and been wrongly, you know, had the families broken up. Mine's light compared to some of them people who've fallen and not got back up, who've been put in such a state of depression that they can't see any way out. So yeah, changes need to come, and they will, because they won't stop until they do, and it will get better. People will get the support that they need, and people will stop lying, because we won't make it so easy for them to be rewarded, right, for the shocking lies and the behaviour. And this is what it is, it's behaviour based, right? Once you understand the behaviour of something, right, whether it be the behaviour of a person or the behaviour of a process, the behaviour of society, you can see it, and you can see what needs changing. People still do stuff because they're not worried about the repercussions of it. There's no repercussions of it. I said to the police, what happens to them now? Nothing. We can't press charges with it because it falls under the law of it's a protected private, so you can actually go into the police, say anything you want, right? And if it's just blatant lies, then the other person can't sue them for libel or defamation of character, because it falls under a protected. Right, yeah, there's some situations, I'm sure, right, that's maybe needed, but it's being totally and utterly taken out of and abused, and it needs sorting out, because nearly 7,000 a year increase, right, in reports, and there's no change in convictions, right? It just shows that more and more and more are just lying and using the system as a man-beating stick. I tell you what happens, either the politicians, lawmakers, or actually the people who pull the strings above them or behind them, right? Either they do something about this and we see an extremely positive change really quickly, or what it really shows is they're not bothered, and this is set up on purpose. It's about working with, not against, but also not just putting up with something that is shocking in its process, in its behaviour and in its results. It's false allegations, or coercive control is another term that's being used. But it's lies. Stop allowing liars a system they don't deserve. What should happen is when it becomes obvious that actually there's a reason why they're lying, and a lot of them tend to have their own mental and emotional issues. They need that support to show them how wrong that is. Not just handing them more sticks because you're actually going to do more harm to them as well than good. Because they're going to think this process is right and just supporting them in their lies. And you're not going to encourage them to change their behaviour by offering them a system like this. So this system that's currently in place needs rewriting. Specifically for this point around false allegations and the process of investigation. To all of them men out there who are still dealing with this, and some of you, it might be a very new thing, right? Keep your chin up. If you know you've done no wrong, then don't engage any more than you have to with a poor system that's not there to support you. And if you've been dealing with this for some time, don't give up hope. You might feel down, but it'll get better. It really will, and there's a lot of people out there who've been through similar things. But you're an individual, and you're the only person who really knows how you feel. But what I'm saying to you is, there's lots of people who've been through a similar process, and you're not on your own. Remember that. And to all the women as well, who know that this system's not fair, the men, the families, they need your support. Not just, there's a lot of pressure on you as well to just to not speak against women, because then you're letting the side down. It's not about size. This is not a battle of the sexes. It's about us finding a better way, and we can, and we will. Thanks for listening.